Hey everyone, it's Dan Sfera from dansfera.com. Welcome back. It's the place where I interview interesting business people, people involved in marketing, people from various different industries. I recently added athletes and musicians or people who work within those industries. Today I've got Stephen Garner, also known as my title guy. He's joining us from Arizona, my second home state. Stephen's an interesting guy. He's basically I met him because he kind of does what I do for clinical trials in the real estate industry, although he's probably been doing it longer than I have. And he's got lots of experience with this kind of stuff as far as search engine optimization, using WordPress, getting inbound links, things like that. And he's just going to talk to us a little bit about what he does, and then we'll get into other different topics. So, Stephen, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
Can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself for those that may not know who you are?
Yeah, let's see. 5'11", devilishly handsome, blue eyes, married, 2 kids. Live in Phoenix, from upstate New York. Been out here for about 11 years. Been in the title industry for 10 years. Left the title industry back in March of this year. And boy, what else? Personal, professional. I'm a Giants fan. I'm going to buy the Giants. You're going to buy the Knicks. You and I will be together on some float in a parade going down New York City one day.
That's right. Not the Knicks, the Clippers. The Clippers.
I should hang up on you right now, actually. Sorry.
The Knicks are out of my league, man. I would need a couple billion.
So basically, I've spent 10 years in the title industry and just helping real estate agents grow their business, and just decided to go do something different when the market. I mean, I'm sure unless you live under a rock, you know that Arizona is going through a tough time on the real estate side.
Right.
So it was an opportunity for me to kind of get out and do my own thing, which founded my title guy and started providing marketing services to real estate agents and title companies and title reps to get them to kind of change their way of thinking from the old marketing paradigm to the new one.
All right. So take us through that paradigm shift, that mental paradigm shift where you were just doing business like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I want specifics like the year and maybe an event that happened. What made you say, hey, I'm going to start doing videos? And I mean, something must have occurred in your mind that made you want to do that. Can you kind of shed some light on that?
Yeah, well, I think anybody in sales or marketing, you have to have a product that's unique, right? No matter what it is, whether you're selling dish soap or detergent, your product has to be unique. It has to have a target audience, right?
Right.
Well, in the title industry space, there's really not that much difference between title companies. I mean, you got anywhere between 60 and 100 companies here in the Phoenix metro area, each one with 10 different title reps. I mean, I was competing with anywhere between 600 and 1,000 people for a limited pool of real estate agents that were doing business.
Just in your immediate local area, right?
My general area of the Phoenix, Maricopa County, yeah. I mean, it was just crazy. Everywhere you look, there's a title company, especially during the boom when you had investors from around the world converging on Phoenix to buy property.
Right.
So, I mean, I've always been a sales guy one way or another. Even when I was in college, I was convincing my professor why I didn't have something done the way it was supposed to be, right? It's just always been me. So I could have continued along the path of trying to provide value to agents with the traditional marketing stuff, which was the postcards and the flyers and the door hangers and, some DOS-based software programs. But really, at the end of the day, they wouldn't meet with me. And the reason why was I was some voice over the phone saying, I can help you build your business, at a time they had heard it from, 100 other reps.
Right.
Nothing tangible. I could have sat here all day and said I had great escrow officers. I could have said that I had a great title company. They didn't care.
Right.
Happy with what they had. So I had to figure out some way of giving them something they could see and something that would add value to their business. So, go ahead.
Interesting. So something just clicked because, I mean, obviously you're in the industry, or your business is basically like commodity business, right? I mean, it's like clinical trials. There's a lot of research clinics that do the same thing. I get it, man. It's like everyone's the same, and they try to just drive prices down. So you're no different just because you're Stephen Garner than, Robert Smith across the street. You guys can both do the same thing. So at that point, something clicked in your mind, and you said, there's got to be a better way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that happened back in 2005. right? So the market explodes. You have
Okay.
you got soccer moms buying and selling real estate. People who were not very savvy in real estate all converged on Phoenix, right? You
Yeah.
could go to the grocery store and someone would be like, "My house is worth 300,000, and I only paid 50." And the dude checking you out would be like, "Yeah, I bought 3 yesterday." Right?
Wow.
I mean, it was crazy. Everybody's buying real estate. So even at that point, I was trying to use, obviously the internet wasn't what it is now in regards to that whole real estate space, but I was still trying to use postcards in a different way than everybody else was.
Okay.
So while everybody else is giving postcards to agents and saying, here's a just listed or just sold card, I was trying to figure out some kind of message with a call to action to get them to do something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the market explodes, everybody's happy, and then 2006 comes, and 2006 was just brutal.
Really?
I mean, oh, it was horrible. Yeah, the market started going from like this to all of a sudden like this. Starts coming out. You got, all of a sudden, you had banks unwilling to lend, or you know, everything's changing. Days on market went up. Everybody started freaking out.
Right.
It's right around that point that I just decided, you know what, I got to find a way to compete.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I was doing, it wasn't going to last. I got sick and tired of calling people and saying I can help you and having them hang up on me. I mean, being a title rep is not an easy job. It's probably one of the most frustrating jobs you can have because everybody appears to be the same and everybody appears to do the same thing.
Right, right. And so it was your own company, right?
No, it wasn't a title company that I owned. I worked for a huge, I say, you know, in my videos, I say I'm a former title rep for a national title insurance company in Phoenix, Arizona. And I worked for a national title insurance company.
Okay.
But there's many of them, especially here in Phoenix. And there just wasn't a lot of perceived diversity between them, perceived value. So I had to find a way to make myself stand out in a pool where everyone looked the same, where there was a bunch of red marbles. I wanted to be that green one.
Okay, I get it.
That's why I went to the internet.
And so what year did you really start getting involved in this stuff, like blogging and specifically video blogs? Because you've been doing this for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. I got into WordPress back in about 2008.
Okay.
I was one of those guys. I mean, I had a website before that, but it sucked. Of course, I didn't know that because I didn't know anything about websites. So I had a static, Flash-based website. I didn't know I had to add content to it on a regular basis to get it indexed. I had heard of it, but I didn't really know anything else, you know? So I was talking about me all day long. I would go to this thing and I'd write on my website and something called Active Rain. Have you ever heard of Active Rain?
No.
Okay. Active Rain is the largest real estate community online. It's essentially one big blogging network for real estate agents, right?
Okay.
So when I would write on my website, which was Flash-based and absolutely horrible, and I'd write on Active Rain. And I'd write on Active Rain because that's where the real estate community was.
Right,
you know?
right.
There was like 200,000 real estate agents from around the country that were on there. So I would be a traditional title rep, and I'd write about myself, how great I was, how great my title company was, how awesome I was, and it just didn't go anywhere. You know? I mean, everybody was talking about how great they are. So I talked to a guy who knew a lot about WordPress, filled me in what it was, why it was better than what I was using, and I built I had a WordPress site called mytitleguy.net built.
Okay.
And I just started filling it with content. I'd heard of a company called HubSpot. Have you heard of HubSpot?
Yes.
Okay. So HubSpot really made the light go on for me in a big way. So if you guys are out there, HubSpot, you guys rock. So basically what happened is, I don't know, I stumbled onto something about HubSpot, and they were talking about outbound marketing and inbound marketing. And I really didn't know which one was which, but I think that all successful people have something in their business. They just don't know what it's called, right? So somebody will say, oh, that's inbound marketing. You're like, oh, that's what it's called. I've been doing that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I learned outbound marketing and inbound marketing. Outbound marketing was the things that real estate agents were doing. That was the postcards and the flyers and the fly swatters and the pumpkins on Halloween and Christmas trees on Christmas, just trying to be top of mind, right? That's what they were doing. Whereas inbound marketing was that mental shift of, instead of going out to try and find people, it was attracting people to you based upon creating things they would look for when they had a need for your product or service. And I'll never forget, I stumbled onto this thing, and I was just like, literally, I just sat in my office Must have been 2 days, man. And I was just literally just blown away just reading on this. And I was like, gee, I thought, I couldn't understand why consumers would respond to a real estate agent that was all, beautiful and, hi, my name's represent, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't work in a lot of industries. I can't imagine a dentist, glamour shot and all with, a toothpick on one side and a toothbrush on the other, talking about how great he is. I couldn't see why that would work. So I didn't see why it would work in the real estate space.
Right, right.
So that started me on this path, man. I started creating content right away for real estate agents to get found, right?
So you were doing consulting at that time?
No, I was still a title rep. They
Oh,
could use my services for free.
really?
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you were doing this to help the realtors
Yes,
find clients so that they bring them to you.
exactly.
Okay, I
I
got
started
you.
doing classes around the valley. I started doing classes on
Wow.
but how to create content, right? Identifying your ideal clients. And people started coming. I mean, it was really cool. But it was the mental shift had to happen for them because everyone before them had trained them to believe that consumers will choose you based upon how knowledgeable you are and how much experience you have,
Right.
So that's where I see that me marketing, that vanity marketing. That's where if you looked in 2004 and prior here in Phoenix, you would totally see real estate agents sitting on a Mercedes in front of a multi-million-dollar house, posing like this, pointing at me, results for you. Right?
But they're not. Aren't they still doing that though?
You know what? The smart ones are starting to realize that if I'm always talking about me, I can't be talking about you.
Right.
Right? And people don't like, can you imagine if I sat here all day long with you and just said, you know what, Dan, sorry, dude, this is about me. Dan, please shut up, I'm talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't do that. So you have to start talking about value, and value is in the eyes of the consumer. So you can say how great you are, but if no one cares, it's irrelevant. So I started doing these classes, agents started coming, and my title guy just blew up. I mean, it was great. I started getting calls from other title companies around the country.
And so your employer, they were okay with all this?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about my employer at the time. My employer, especially when you're dealing with big corporations,
Right.
A lot of them, when the whole social media thing exploded, when the WordPress thing exploded, they were very careful and very cautious to jump into that because they didn't know how it was going to affect them, right?
Right.
I mean, you really don't want somebody 18 years old talking intelligently about your brand if they don't know what your brand is or what that you want it to mean, right?
Right.
So they were very careful, and they essentially said, listen, we know you have this site, mytitleguy.net, and go ahead and use it. But listen, don't mention us, okay? We don't want you to mention our company in it. And I was thinking, I was like, well, how am I possibly going to get business for this title company for me if I can't mention the company,
Mm-hmm.
And it was really at that point where I thought, I don't even know if I should continue because it didn't make sense to me. But then I went back to HubSpot and looked at all their stuff, and I realized that I could still do it without mentioning the company and probably get even better results.
Right, yeah, because people want that face. They want the face of the title industry. I mean, it's basically you, at least in your area, right? Is there anyone else doing this stuff, like even nationwide?
There's a core group of people in the title industry that do it, but they're very, very, very few and far between. A lot of people are motivated by pain, right? So if you smoke, and you smoked for 20 years, but you probably tried to quit for maybe 30, 40, 100 times. But when the doctor comes in and says, listen, you got cancer, and if you don't quit, you're going to die next week, that pain of not doing something kicks in, and you quit, right? You see it all the time. People that have never worked out all of a sudden lose 150 pounds because the doctor says your diabetes is going to kill you, and they say, okay, something's got to change, right?
Right.
Right now, there's no pain involved for the title industry because a lot of it is still bank-owned and short sale and those kind of things. So a lot of title companies are still doing well. They don't know that this shift necessarily has occurred already.
Right.
So when our market returns to normal, they're going to have to provide value to real estate agents. And
it's going to be a totally different market because the economy has just shifted. People want value.
it's not even a different market. It's going to be a way of thinking, right? I mean, real estate agents are going to be looking for people to help them build their business to that point. And, some DOS-based CRM is not going to do it. Postcards and flyers and direct mail, it's not going to do it. They're going to be looking for people that can help them. And that's where the reps and the title companies that really jump on board with this, they're really going to not only survive, they're going to kill it.
Now, Steve, are you still working for that big insurance company?
No, I left in March. In March of 2011, jumped out of title, and actually it was kind of funny. I got a call from an attorney on the East Coast, a guy that's in the title industry, pretty well-known guy, called me up and said, you know what, I've been, much like you did when you said I saw one of your videos.
Yeah.
He said, dude, I've been watching your videos for the last 3 or 4 months, and as far as I can tell, you're the only one doing this, and I'd like you to help me. And I was just like, what? What do you mean you've been watching my videos? Up until that point, I thought I was just making stuff for whatever, right?
Right.
Making it to more provide evidence of me doing it, right?
Right,
like,
right.
I'm over here doing this, and you should too. I mean, I wasn't necessarily doing it to get found outside of Maricopa County or Arizona, but that's what happened. It just boom. It was great.
So since then, you've been kind of looking into doing the consulting for other realtors, or?
Yeah. I got out in March, and we formed a company called Profound, right? Now, I remember it was like, I don't know, it was July of like 2010, and market was bad. It was bad. And I was a pretty high-producing title rep, right?
Right.
And for me, I'm a real high I, right? As an influential. So when I would look at me, I would measure myself based upon the number of deals that I was bringing in. And when those numbers started to go down, it didn't just affect my pocketbook, it affected me up here.
Right.
It was, am I not good at my job anymore? Am I,
Right.
Am I this? Am I that? I really took it personally. And I didn't see it changing anytime soon. I saw the market getting worse. I saw even less loyalty on the real estate side happening. So I thought back to the people that had contacted me prior and said, you know what, I think I'm going to do this. So like I still have it on my iPhone here. I got a note in here. It's like, I don't know, it was July at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and wrote down Profound. And it was pro-found, as in professional found.
Ah, okay.
So I went, and that was for me, that was, the name was, and it's not just real estate, it's everybody. TV's not working the way it used to. Radio's not working the way it used to. When's the last time you skipped home because you got a great deal in the mail? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you got a need, you go online like everybody else. So
it's very interesting. So you're not focused on all industries, but of course you specialize in real estate. And I personally, I think real estate's the best industry to start with something like this, because you don't have to worry about helping two people who would ultimately compete with themselves or with each other, because it's such a localized market. I mean, it's not like you're helping a coffee guy, make awesome videos and then he'll dominate the coffee industry, and then you're going to help another coffee guy do the same thing. Because in real estate, you can help someone in Boston, someone in New York, and, everybody wins.
It's really wide open. There's agents right now that are making a killing that are not going to be around when the market returns, or within probably a couple of years. Oh, look at this. I love this. Spokane, Washington. I get a lot of these out of town. I love these long distance calls now. It's usually an agent or a title company that found me online.
Really?
It's beautiful. Oh, it's awesome. I love it.
There's living proof right there. Yeah,
dude, it has been this. With Profound, we've taken it a step further. So, we started we started designing websites based upon the way websites should be for agents, right? A lot of the competitors in that website space were designing things for agents based upon vanity, right? And there's a huge difference between what a website looks like and what a website does, So we had to build websites, but then we had to go out and start to change the way that agents looked at things, the way they perceived it, because they had been trained to believe that it's all how you look,
Yeah.
Just go out there and just act like you're it and you'll be it. You know what I'm saying?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
So how many realtors do you know? Because for quite some time, I wanted to be a realtor as well. I got caught up in the bubble. I never actually went ahead and did that, but I
Mhm.
was already thinking, man, if this worked for clinical trials, I can do this in real estate, at least in my
Yeah,
local area, like Anaheim.
sure.
How many realtors do you know that do videos like constantly, like every day,
With every day, I would say probably zero. Uh,
anywhere in the nation?
I mean, when you say no, I mean personally, no. There are those out there. You got some guys that are in Canada, and it's funny. There's one guy. His name's Ian Watt. He's up in Canada, and he has had a lot of success with video. And as far as I can tell, he was one of the pioneers in that real estate space in Canada.
Hmm.
And since then, you've seen a lot of agents, not only here in Phoenix but around the country, start recording from their cars. That's what he would do. He would drive around and he would talk about his random thoughts about real estate,
Right.
about providing value to the consumer based upon. I think he was up in British Columbia, or I'm sorry, he was up in Vancouver.
Okay.
He would drive around and talk about it. And everything that I've seen, he's got a great looking website. It looks like he's got quite a bit of business going on. And in real estate, they teach you modeling, right? So why reinvent the wheel when you can just model somebody else? So a
Right.
lot of people have done that. They've started recording from their cars. There are agents that are using video, but it's so. I mean, I mean, real estate's visual and it's emotional. Video's
My
the
God.
perfect thing. When's the last time you bought a house without wanting to see it or feel what it was like to walk in and say, this thing looks like the perfect man cave right here. You know,
Right.
right?
My God, you're giving me ideas. I mean, I want to jump into the real estate game now because I
Wide,
feel it's
wide open.
really wide open.
Here's the thing about real estate, okay? And a lot of agents haven't gotten this yet. Most consumers do not differentiate between realtor A and realtor B, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the agent's marketing is based upon I'm a great agent and I'm fantastic and I have great customer service and I return phone calls. But that's an expectation, right? That's not really a benefit. Like, I expect you to do that. That's like getting in the car and being excited because it started, right?
That's like bragging that you have a pulse.
Exactly. Exactly. Use me, I got a pulse.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So really it comes down to the new paradigm shift is getting found when somebody has a need. And if you can do that, 80% of consumers will go with the first agent they find. So now all you got to do is you got to learn the internet space, because I believe the future of real estate has less to do with relationship and more to do with computers.
More to do,
Because
specifically Google, right?
oh yeah, I mean 94% of consumers start their home search online. That's where they go when you got a need. Why go anywhere else? You can go online. You can look for. People ask Google a question. 4-bedroom, 2-bath home near Mayo Clinic. Right? If you know you're a doctor and you're going to be transferred somewhere, you're going to go work for Motorola or whatever, or Dell or wherever it is, you're going to look for homes near Dell.
Right.
That's what you're going to do.
Right.
So agents that understand that can kill it. Absolutely.
And they're still not doing it, man.
Well, you know what? Like I said, there's no pain involved yet. A lot of them are doing short sales and they're doing REO. There's not a lot of resale transactions here in Phoenix going on. But when the market returns, I call it the great reset, right? Everybody's starting from zero. You've had agents that have been marketing a database for a long period of time who haven't, that whole database marketing, they haven't kept in contact with them. A lot of them have been foreclosed on. They've done short sales. They've moved on. So they're literally going to finish one market, which is this distressed home buying and selling market, and then they're going to try and jump back into a traditional market, and they're going to look, it's going to be like landing on Mars. You're going to turn around and go, my house was over there and it's not, and my business was over here and it's not. And you're going to be like, what the hell do I do? Everything's going to be on its head. You got no database. All the marketing stuff you used to do doesn't work anymore. What do you do, right?
My God, I can't believe it's so wide open, because I would think that
Wide
that
open.
would be what, as a non-real estate industry insider, give me like a description of your average realtor. Like, you were kind of getting into that earlier. Are these the type of people that are okay with change, or are they very resistant to change just because they're following everyone else?
I would say the real estate industry as a whole is very, very resistant to change, very slow to change. Just a case in point here, when I say we, I mean the real estate industry, switched to a different MLS. MLS is the multiple listing service, okay? So before that, and you can meet agents that are, been in the business 40 years, and they'll talk to you about the days when they had all the homes for sale in a book. right? When the agents were the gatekeepers of the information, okay? Well, technology has brought change, and now the data is available for anybody who wants it, right? So I think it was about maybe 3 years ago, they switched from something called MLS to Flex MLS. And the Flex part was really, it offered a lot more value for the consumer, right? Not just searching for properties, but all of a sudden you could save your searches. All of a sudden you could look at properties on a map. You know what I mean? It was very good for the consumer.
Right.
And real estate agents went nuts, man. They went their cheese was moved in a big way, right? I mean, they were used to something being one way and all of a sudden it wasn't, right? They knew how to input a listing on this new one and then didn't on the other, right? It went absolutely nuts. I mean, people were just going crazy. They were livid. But the funny thing is, and I know this because I was teaching classes on it, is that within probably 4 months, you couldn't find somebody who didn't love the new program. You know, once they understood it, once they took it in and saw the value for them and their clients, they loved it. But I mean, it took a while to get over that. So as a general rule, the real estate industry is rather slow to change. There's a lot of technologies out there that I can't believe post-art companies still operate in the real estate space. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I know I throw all that stuff out, and I know you made a video about that.
Yeah.
Now, Stephen, as we wrap up, what are your plans for your company? What is your ideal, I guess, company or vision for your company? Let's say 5 years from now. Let's say the market's back to normal. Hopefully, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
Sooner than that, yeah.
So what is your vision for your company? Do you want to help an agent in every metropolitan city have, like, you know, the best ranking on Google, or?
You know what? I love helping agents. I love it. I love helping agents that get it, right? No matter what it is, whether you're taking, you know, if you're going to learn karate, you're not just going to step in there and all of a sudden start doing roundhouses, right? You have to learn to work up to that point. There's a lot of agents that don't get it now, but there's a core group that really do, right? And they're killing it, right? They're the thought leaders in this industry right now. So as far as who I'd like to help, I love helping agents, but really who I really like to help is title companies, because they're the ones that have the biggest challenges. They just don't know it yet. You know, they haven't seen it yet because they're still doing deals. They're still doing the bank owned and the short sale deals. But that's going to end, and when it does, the real estate market, it doesn't really come. I mean, look at 2006. That just ended. You know what I mean? It was boom, done. So to that end, what we did is a lot of people think I left the title industry just to focus on websites. That wasn't what I did. I left we built a technology. We built an indexable IDX. Do you know what that is?
No, but are you a tech guy? Are you a tech savvy guy?
No, you know, my dad owns a software company.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I got a little bit of tech in me. But I went back to the guys that built my original site. They were very techie guys. They were SEO guys, been in the business for a long time. And they had been urging me to leave the title industry for a long time. They were like, you can do so much better over here, right? Take what you're doing now where it's perceived that people don't really appreciate it and go and do it over here. You know, go do it on a national level. So I left the title industry and we sat down and said, you know, what can we do? Like any company launching a product, what can we do? What's going to make us different? What's our value proposition? What's our unique selling proposition? What question can we be the answer to, right? So we looked around and we saw that in the real estate space, the IDXs were pretty poor. Now, an IDX is Internet Data Exchange, and it essentially allows consumers like you to search for real estate on an agent's website, right? Which an agent without an IDX is a lot like a car without a steering wheel. It's not going anywhere, right? You got to have the value consumers are looking for, which is homes. So we looked at the IDX solutions out there, and a lot of them were static. They were built in iframes, so Google couldn't see them. And we decided that we were going to build an indexable IDX. So we went out and found programmers, the right programmers to build it for us. And ironically, it's funny, I just found out today we were just approved as a vendor for Arizona to launch our IDX. So here's what that looks like. We're going to essentially, right, be doing classes around the valley for real estate agents to say, hey, you know how we've told you need to write content on your website and you need to identify who your ideal client is and all this different stuff. You still need to do that, but we're going to make your life that much easier because now we have an indexable IDX that's going to take the data the homes that people are looking for and make it so that Google can see that information on their website. And all agents aren't going to get it, but the agents that do, they're going to crush it. I mean, it's just it's crazy. It's really exciting.
So you got a while to work on this. I mean, you're just starting out.
Yeah. As far as Profound goes, March. The IDX, we just found out, like I said, we got approved today. It's going to be, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of a shift. We have to tell agents. Right now, they're not used to an IDX actually helping them get business. Right now, they think of it as, hey, it's there when a client gets to my website. If they, of course, right?
Right.
So we're going to be teaching them that. In addition with video. I mean, videos, like I said, video is huge.
And that's for, mainly for the consumer, but also maybe for a realtor, right?
For video?
Yeah.
And video is, I'm actually going to go out on a limb here and say video is going to be more important in the real estate space than blog posts. And the reason why is if I'm moving, like you're in Anaheim, okay? So if I'm moving from Phoenix and I'm going to go to Anaheim, I don't know anything about, I mean, I've been to Disneyland, but I don't know anything about the real estate industry in Anaheim. I really don't.
Right.
I don't know what houses look like. I don't know what they're priced at. I don't know whatever. So while a lot of people will go to Google, an increasing amount of people are going to YouTube. And they're looking for information about Anaheim, right? Anaheim homes for sale, things to do in Anaheim lifestyle, whatever. So the agents that can create those kind of videos to get found when a consumer like me has a need, they're going to win that game, right? You automatically come off as the expert. If you're the guy I'm looking at, that's the great thing about YouTube. You're on stage. You know, watching your video, it's all about you. You're the one talking, I'm the one listening, and you come off as the expert.
In other words, you become the face of that, you know, whatever topic it is. The realtor in Anaheim, you're the face of it.
Not only are you the face, you're the brand. Right? You got their attention. Now you just got to use some sales skill and a good call to action to get them to do something. You know, fill out the form, call me here, email me here. I'm your Anaheim guy.
I still don't understand why, and I don't really search for realtors anywhere. So I wanted to interview you because I know that you're into that space to see if people are starting to do this. And what I'm getting from you is that they're not, which is I just don't get it, man.
You know what? It's like anything else. You have the 80-20 rule in any business. I would say that's going to be more like a 97-3 or 93-7. About 7% of the agents around the country are really embracing video. They get it. But even the ones that are using video, a lot of them don't get that set either. They're still using video in the way they were using their outbound marketing, which was, you know, imagine, hi, my name is Steven, and I'm I have all these designations, and you should work with me, right? Well, no one's going to find that because nobody goes looking for a great realtor when they're going to move. They're looking for a property, or they're looking for a solution to a problem they have, and they'll often go with the person that they've found.
So in other words, even the ones that are using video, they're still putting out basically a commercial on YouTube. And
a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Dude, here's what's really funny. You got to do this. Go to YouTube, and I tell agents to do this. Go to YouTube and look for look for videos where you'll find real estate agent marketing. And most of the videos you're going to find are the agent talking about themselves, okay? And then look at the comments below. And literally a lot of people are attacked, right? You have consumers that go, oh yeah, you think it's all about you or whatever else. I saw one, I mean, it was bad. Just literally attacking the agent because the agent hadn't figured out it's not about them. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like going to look for a Lexus. You go to YouTube, you put in Lexus GS 300, you expect the car to come up, and it's a video of a salesman.
Yeah.
Look at hi, I'm Lexus certified. You know what I mean? The product's the car.
Right.
You know?
Interesting conversation, Steve. We're going to do it again, maybe in a few months, to give our audience an idea of where you are then, at that point. Yep. If people want to reach you now, and I'm going to put links on the blog post when this video eventually will become a blog post, where do they go?
You know what? They can, if they want to reach, there's two ways. If they're agents and they're looking for help with their marketing, they can check out our website. It's foundwithprofound.com. There's information on there about our new IDX. There's information about using video in your marketing. Or they can go to mytitleguy.com. And that one that's just got my random thoughts about when I see something wrong in the real estate space, I could tell one person, but why? Why wouldn't I create a blog and tell everybody about it, right? So it's been good. It's been really good.
Very good, Steve. Man, we can do this all day long. There's just so
Yeah.
much to cover. We'll do another one, man. Everyone, thank you for watching. Check out Steve on mytitleguy.com.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Dan Sfera from dansfera.com. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thanks again. I appreciate it, Dan. We'll talk to you on Twitter, man.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.